Welcome back to another episode of Adventures with Luminaire 2. Today we're going to be going over the design center. So in here I have my hoop quilt up with my magnetic hoop, and I already did a background scan, which if you've never done one of those, you actually will hit this little leaf button, and then image scan will show you what's in your hoop. Line design is if you want to scan in a coloring book picture with lines or a pantograph or something like that, and illustration is more of a colored picture. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take this hexagon shape and fill it in. Now, in our previous video, we had done the edge quilting around here, and then I had also showed you the built-in designs that also have different hexagon designs like this. So you could also use a built-in design for a hexagon. But this time, we might as well just use the built-in shapes and easily put in one of the new 6 fills built into the Luminaire 2. So we're going to go into our shapes key, which is this circle and square. And this first page, if you notice, there happens to be a hexagon. How cool is that? So we'll just hit OK. Now, this is, of course, not the right size at the moment, so we're going to go into size, and we're going to hit the arrows pointed out on the top right. That will change this equally. Now, I know that my hexagon is somewhere around like a 9.25 or something like that. And we want to make this a little smaller so that way it won't go over the edge. And I may have to rotate this after as well. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've ever hooped anything straight in my life. All right, so let's try that size, and then we're going to go into rotate and just use this 1% and the move keys until we have this all situated. If I hoop this up perfectly and centered, it would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? That looks pretty good. Now, what we want to do with this shape is right now we do actually have a line applied, but I want to turn this into a no stitch. So I can go into my line functions here, and I can actually click this no stitch button. Hit OK. Hit my little fill cup up with the lines. Oops, wrong button, the fill cup. And click right on that line. It grays out slightly, it's a little hard to tell, but now that will not stitch that solid line onto my quilt, so I can fill this in with whatever I'd like. I'm going to go into my fills, and I already have the circles selected, which is our fancy fills. I could also do a stipple or a solid fill. I'm going to hit select. Now, there are a ridiculous amount of stitches now in this machine. There are now 42 in the Luminaire 2. The Luminaire 1 with upgrade 1 went up to 36. Luminaire with no upgrade went up to 30, and the Dream Machine only had up to, I think, 15 with the update 2. So there are quite a few stitches, and you will definitely find one that suits your fancy built into this machine. I want to try this new circle one, though. I think that one's really cool. This one I think is a little too funky for my taste, and this one is just really pretty, but I don't think that's going to work for my hexagon. I like this one. So we're going to hit OK. And you could choose a color if you want. It doesn't really matter too much because, of course, I'm going to choose light blue. But whatever thread you put in the machine, it's going to stitch. Now, to add this fill, we're going to hit the fill cup and click right here in the middle. And there is our design. We're going to hit next. And this is where the fun happens. Now it's going to show you a preview of what that looks like, which is pretty good. It looks like I need to adjust it a little bit because it's sticking down a little bit. So I can always hit return. I can hit my select key down here. We'll just hit the magic tool and see if I can select the whole thing. We'll just use size to move. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay, I think I moved it. Let's hit next. See what it looks like. A little better. Now what I could also do if this is going to stitch over, which I realize that I used a very light color and it's hard for you guys to tell. There's some stitches just past the seam. I can also hit return and use my little eraser tool and just kind of go here and just erase a little bit. I may have erased too much. We'll see. Actually, that looks pretty good. So there's always a way. So there's a couple keys I wanted to show you guys. And actually, before we continue, I'm going to change the color so you guys can actually see what's going on here. There. See if that's any better. Haha, much better. Okay, so this top button here is our size. I actually like this size though, so I'm not going to bother with that, but I could go up to 200% smaller or 200% bigger or 50% smaller. I can also change the angle. These are circles, so I don't really see a need for that. This is the border stitch, so if you wanted to stitch a solid line around this, you could turn that on. This button is really cool. It's called your random shift. We're going to turn that to a 3 and I'll show you what that is. Kind of does some crazy stuff. Now there's also different types now built into the machine for shifts, and that is new. I haven't had a chance to play with all these yet. So it just kind of does some different angles in which it does the shift. I am going to turn off the shift because I think it looks better without it. This is our center, so we could, let's say we had a different shape and we had a design that had more of a center, we could actually alter where the center of that design is. And then this button is my absolute favorite. This came in the upgrade one with the Luminaire. If you click on that, you can change the thickness of your stitch. It's not a perfect single run, but it doesn't go over everything 5 times. So it's a lot lighter and better and does not take away from your quilt as much. So once we're all done, we can hit set, hit OK, and embroider. It's already scanned in and set. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed our quick lesson on the Design Center.